Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Good Intentions with Lisa-Tien. That is me. Okay, first of all, being able to do upper body day again, what a slay. Because I was feeling some type of way during those few months. I think it was like I couldn't lift upper body for 3 months. 3 months post-surgery. She was feeling a little frothy in them arms, but then also like eating out every day. Maybe it wasn't every day, but it was definitely like a lot. And I have only eaten out once this whole entire month, which is, wow, amazing. I'm not really hitting protein goal right now. I think starting today, my meal prep is going to be different. I need to drop my calories. I've had my calories at about 1800, which is probably maintenance for me. Usually my calories for if I'm wanting to go down in weight is about 1600, but I felt like if I just shot down to 1600 from eating out as often as what I was, I don't even know how much my calorie intake was when I was eating out all the time. But anyways, I felt like if I just started at 1600, that would have been maybe like a little difficult, especially since I'm trying to get back into the habit of tracking and of not eating out. I didn't want to overwhelm myself with too many difficult things to hit, and then me having ADHD just being like not into it and then just like failing. So I didn't want to set myself up for failure. So this month I really just focused on trying to hit 1800, not eating out, and consistently tracking. And I feel like I did pretty good. Of course, I definitely went over the calorie goal a few times a week, but that's why we need to drop it. And starting today, because it's a Monday and I'm doing all my meal preps, I'm going to be a little more conscious of tracking like actually how much protein I'm eating and really, really trying to stay within that calorie budget. But I'm loving these fucking shoulders and arms. I'm debating on if I want to go to the gym today. Like I said, it's a Monday. We had a little video film shoot at work. So I had my client come in at 9 and I just popped in a few foils, bada bing, bada boom. And I could have gone to the gym before, but I didn't want to be doing too much. A few days ago, I thought I was starting to get sick because my friend Bestie that did my hair, she was like having some sniffles for about a week. Like we hung out the week before she did my hair and then on the day that she did my hair, and then my boss put in my extensions and his allergies were really bad, and I think like later on that day I started to not feel great and I was getting scared because I was like, I don't want to get sick, so I drank some emergency like 2 days 3 days in a row, and I think 2 nights I took some NyQuil just in case. And like whatever it was like 2 days of just low energy, and just I went to bed early. I was like, you know what, like let's just sleep in and not set an alarm at 5 a.m. So anyway, I'm taking it a little easy right now because I have so much time to lift and go to the gym. You definitely also want to make sure that you're recovering. So if my sleep quality isn't great and I'm still setting an alarm to go to the gym, and then by the end of the day, I'm still not feeling like amazing, it's like you need to recover in order for your muscles to grow, in order for your mental health to be good. Like you can't just be on all the time. And there was like a time period sometime within this month. Oh, also my nails. Tina did such an amazing job. I'm so fucking obsessed. I wasn't sure if I'm just going to keep showing them on the camera like that. And these are just like little cutesy nude ones. Stunning. These two are the cat eyes. This one, I am so freaking obsessed. I mean, I'm obsessed with all of them. Like, she really popped the fuck off. Valentine's Day nails. I wasn't sure how it would feel with not having a red nail because I've been so obsessed with that red color. But these are cute. And then my arms that I keep showing off. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh, there was this time period at some point in this month, maybe like a week or 2 weeks ago, where just because I can wake up early and go to the gym that day doesn't mean that I necessarily should. Like, I really had to talk myself into just taking that rest day. And whenever you get into flow and you try to take a step back, or at least with me anyway, I feel this kind of like guilt or just, I don't know how to describe what emotion that is, but like you feel like, oh, well, I shouldn't take a break. Like, I'm on this roll. Maybe it's a little bit of fear that if I do take a rest day that I might go like off the wall or something. But I had to just force myself. I'm like, you've gone to the gym like this many days in a row. You need to put in a rest day. My gym days still haven't been quite consistent on a schedule wise. It's really like I don't have a set day within the week to take a rest day because there are some leg days. Let's just say if I have split squats that day, like I'm going to be sore for like 2-3 days. So then I try to plan around that. Like, okay, if it's a leg day with split squats, I might either skip the next day or I'll do upper body the next day. And then the day after that, I might do cardio or just have like some rest in between. As long as I have 2 days in the week where I have a rest, or I might even take a third day because I can't do chest right now. Even if I do lower weight, like it feels weird. It feels like I can feel the implants. So I'm really alternating between legs and just upper body, legs, upper body. So whenever I do legs, it's within that day, I'm alternating. I either start with a squat movement or I start with a deadlift. And if I start with a squat, then I'm going to be more quad dominant that day. If I start with a deadlift, then I'm going to be more hams dominant that day. So then I will alternate. Okay, if I start off with a squat, then I'll do a dumbbell RDL and then I'll do a leg press. I'll just alternate between the two within that day. And then on upper body day, I always start with back, and I will either start with a lat pull down or a row, and then I will alternate between push, pull, or pull, push, pull, push. And, like back, shoulders. Anyway, that's been my recovery workout routine. And then I'll throw in a cardio day. If I'm not too sore, then I'll go 5 days a week. If I need a little more recovery, then I'll just do like 4 days. I might just, yeah. So that's that. Diet has been good. I've been actually eating my meal preps, like really excited to eat my meals because I've been making them pretty good. And then the thing that I've been struggling with is I bought this, it's called Hot and Spicy popcorn by like Pop 2 or whatever is the brand. I get it at Target. So it is popcorn, but it tastes like hot Cheetos. And I've been eating that like almost every day as a snack. And I feel like it would be fine if I just ate half. Because I mean, how much healthier, quote unquote, is microwavable popcorn versus chips? I think definitely like I don't feel like shit after I eat the popcorn, but still, like, what kind of oils is it cooked in or whatever, doused in, and then you fucking cook it in the microwave and blah blah blah. I did eat some hot Cheeto fries that my roommate had and she gave to me. I brought the rest of it to work, but yeah, I kept 4 bags. They're like just like the little bags. I kept them for myself. And I ate 2 bags one day, and then the other day I ate 2 more. And I just remember like it started to give me a headache, but anyway. That's kind of what I've been overeating, like over my calorie budget on is just like the snacks, and not only the popcorn, but I've been popping the fuck off on a charcuterie board meat like salami, prosciutto, chorizo. So I will eat, like, I buy the trio charcuterie or whatever at Target, and I will eat like one of each meat with an ounce. And I don't even really know if it's an ounce. I haven't actually weighed it, but just based off of the servings, I'll just cut it into the serving size. And then I'll cut that in half. But anyway, yeah. So that has been like my main after dinner snack while I watch like a TV show or something. I'll just have that popcorn. Not only the popcorn, but I also melt a tablespoon of butter, which is 100 calories. I think I've already talked about this in one of the episodes. But anyway, we're going to try to cut back on that a little bit. So yeah, this morning we went to work. We did a little film. It was literally the same thing. I already did it for the Fort Worth location, and I wasn't sure if they were going to post that video because it was at the Fort Worth salon in South Lake. Different vibe. We wear all black and stuff like that. But I had asked one of my models if she would be a model, and I asked her for Fort Worth the first time, and she kind of just took a while to respond. So we found someone else because I was kind of panicking. I wasn't sure if I was going to have somebody. And so then I asked her again for this time, which, you know, I also asked one of my best friends as a backup, but I really want to do her hair because she's blonde. And yeah, decided, yep, I'm going to do her hair. But then they ended up posting my Fort Worth video, so I really wasn't sure. But I was just like, you know what, I'm still going to do your hair anyway. And that was fun. Now I'm home, taking advantage of makeup that I have on, deciding if I'm going to go to the gym after this or just get right into meal prepping. Yesterday, I got to have a little chatty chat and record an episode with, we'll just call her Authentically Nina, is her podcast, or not her podcast, her Instagram. And her podcast is Be Authentically You. I should double check that. And if that's wrong, then I'll add a caption in. But yes, I met her through Jen Ditshazy. I actually don't know how to say her last name, but she had reached out to me, and she had this like manifestation group course program that I signed up for last year, and it was really awesome. So we basically met up on Zoom once a week, and it's a group of women, all amazing, wonderful humans. And so she has like a set course that you go through on your own about manifestation, law of attraction, what's reticular activating system is, and how everyone, the way that they view life is through a filtered lens, and that lens is the RAS, which is programmed into you by the age of 7, by what you've heard, watched, your parents, school, stuff like that. So everything that you lived through by the age of 7 is programmed into you. So you might, if you came from, and that's kind of what, going on several different tangents right now, but that is also, I'm getting distracted because Justin's texting me and the texts are coming up. So this is what I want to talk about today, is parents and forgiveness. But we'll go back to Jen's manifesting course. It's called the Manifesting Accelerator. And I felt like I really wanted to do it. I felt like it would be beneficial to take a course and see how someone even sets up a course, right? Like if you want to become a fitness coach, or if you want to become anything like a hairstylist, whatever, it's always good to like shadow someone that is doing whatever it is that you want to do, or even, researching an entrepreneur, someone who owns their own business and their life stories, seeing, if they went to school, if they didn't, what they failed at, what they learned. All of that helps you put things into perspective and kind of let go of fears, because I feel like a lot of us might want to do something, right? But then we feel like we're not good enough, or we feel like we're not worthy, and we might make a mistake. And then that one mistake sets us back way too much to where maybe we don't want to try anymore, because we now have this limiting belief of, oh, I made a mistake and now I feel like I don't really know what I'm doing and blah, blah, blah. So that whole course is basically a whole layout of our mindset and the science behind our brains and how it works, and manifesting, and what law of attraction is, what manifestation is, what the laws of the universe is. And it basically just helps you shift your mindset and believe in yourself and let go of limiting beliefs that keep you held back and keep you stuck. So she gets really into all of the details in the course. But the online Zoom meetings, every meeting will have like a topic of whatever it may be, like money mindset, or letting go of fear, or letting go, like the fear of being seen and stuff like that. And she either does, she kind of goes over what that is, what it looks like, what it shows up as, because some people aren't even aware that the way that they react or the way that they feel is stemming from fear or whatever. So she gives examples of like what that looks like, how it shows up, and then how it's false. And then she'll go into like shifting a mindset type of thing, whether it's meditation or tapping or some rapid resolution therapy, RRT. I feel like there was a fourth one that she did, just like visualization stuff, to kind of just help you let go of this, whatever negative thought or emotion that you're having that is keeping you stuck. Like, she just works on helping us get rid of that, dissolving that, and then you just feel so much better afterwards. And then you journal about whatever it is that you felt, how you feel now. And I just always felt so light after each session. And it's a whole group thing. And a lot of times, or a few times a month, she'll have like a guest on. So I went on this whole tangent describing Jen's Manifestation Accelerator course, just to let y'all know where I met Nina. Nina was a guest that Jen had on, and she specializes in human design. So I don't really know how to correctly describe what human design is, but it is based off of, it's basically your chart of your body and your systems. And you find the information based off of your birthday, the location that you were born, and something else. So it's like kind of like astrology, but not really. It is so specific to you. Like, whenever you enter it in, you get back this, basically, it's literally like a flow chart of a body, and it shows like different shapes within the body and different like valves within the body. It's so interesting. And each shape within the body can be open or it can be closed. And then that means something. And then there's arrows in between the valves. If they go up this way or that way, those can also be closed. And I don't even know how to fucking read that chart, but she is a genius when it comes to that. And yeah, and not only do you get the chart, but then there's also like little numbers that kind of describe your personality. And yeah, so that's how I met her. I thought it was so cool. And I ended up having like a one-on-one session with her because I wanted her to read my chart. So basically it's kind of like, like psychic reading or astrology or whatever along those lines. But I don't want to minimize what it actually is. And that's how I met her. So we follow each other on Instagram, and I did a one-on-one reading with her. I felt like it was so awesome. And during that time was when I was still married to my ex-husband. And I remember like she even saw within my chart that this was something that I needed to go through, but like that I would get through it. And once I get through it, Like that is like my karmic purpose, is to go through whatever it is and then be able to share that with other people and influence it. Like when she was going through my chart, I was like, this is literally everything that I've ever wanted in my life, like to my life's purpose. I feel like everything that I've ever wanted to do career-wise involved helping someone in some kind of way. Like I've always loved waiting tables because I like serving, quite literally. Like I like being there and doing stuff for people, and I love doing hair. It's fun. I love a haircut. I love color. I love to transform hair. However, the thing that I love most about being a hairstylist is making that connection with the person that's sitting in my chair. I feel like that is more important to me than the hair itself. And it really depends. So like the person in my chair, we might be vibing, you know, like they might be ADHD as fuck and we have like a whole ass, like we're just nonstop talking the whole time. Or I have someone who's a little more quiet, and that's fine. And then that's when I get to focus a little more on the hair. But either way, I enjoy either type of people. I even like men's cuts. Like it's just something that I like to do. But the thing that gets me going is just making that connection. And there are a few people whose hair I've been doing for 8 years and we still have this relationship, or they follow me on Instagram and maybe they don't get their hair done anymore, or maybe they moved and stuff like that. But I just love learning about people's stories and sharing my life in hopes that it influences someone in some kind of positive way. I used to want to be a cop, like everything, you know, I wanted to be a therapist as well. Like everything that I wanted to do involved doing something of service for someone else. And I feel like I'm doing that. I'm starting that journey now of what I really want to do is just share the things that I've learned in my life, the things that I'm learning through listening to other people's lives or listening to experts on podcasts, books. Eventually, I will start reading the books that I bought, and I'll be able to talk about that in my podcast as well. Anyway, that was a 23-minute intro tangent life update. But yeah, so today I really want to talk about forgiveness, because we talked about that in the podcast that Nina and I recorded yesterday, or she recorded anyway, that I got to be a guest on for the first time. Forgiveness. I feel like forgiveness equals letting go. Like it is something that it is very hard. It can be very hard, especially if something traumatic happened to you. It's very hard to just go off of it based off of, you know, surface level. Like, oh, I forgive you, meaning it's okay that you did what you did and blah, blah, blah. But that isn't necessarily what forgiveness is. So a lot of people, I feel like they kind of grow up and blame their parents for their shortcomings, or my parent didn't ever teach me this. My parent didn't show me love the way that I needed to be shown love. My mom was this. My mom put me down. My dad was never there, blah, blah, blah. And of course, all of that is valid. Or maybe they endured abuse. You know, all of that is valid. The emotion that you feel when you think of that time, completely valid. We are human. We feel things, right? Or there might be resentment towards the parent because you feel like they loved a sibling more than you. Like that is real shit. Like sometimes in these families, it is very evident that there is a favorite child and they make it known. And if I watch a movie or a show that shows that, like I just feel so much. Okay, so I was binge watching Arrested Development, rewatching it. And Arrested Development is a comedy. If you guys haven't seen it, Jason Bateman is in it, Will Arnett, Judy Greer. the guy that plays Tobias, like there are a lot of, I was going to say top level stylists. And then now I'm thinking of high end. What am I trying to say? A lot of like big actors that are in this show. And okay, it is a comedy, but it is a comedy about a dysfunctional family. I believe both parents are narcissists. The mom, both parents actually, for sure. They are very self-centered. The mom is an alcoholic. The dad lies and cheats and embezzles money, and their lawyer is even sketchy. And then there's Jason Bateman has a twin sister, and then they have an older brother and a younger brother, and youngest brother is like 30 or 31 in the show, so it's not, like kids, but the younger brother like is very, he's giving like autistic or something. Like he's just very strange, but in a funny way. But he is like that mama's boy. And me seeing how the parents treat the children, and I'm saying children, but they're literally adults. Like they'll pin them against each other, or the mom constantly puts the daughter down, or like hints about her makeup, or, like there was one time they were walking outside and Lindsay is the sister / the daughter, her heel breaks. And the mom says something along the lines of, "Oh no, like be careful. Those are heels. They can only handle so much weight." That was a dig towards her being overweight, but she's like fucking skinny as hell. Like, okay, the whole show, literally, it's meant to be funny. It is funny. But because of what I went through with my ex, now I can see when someone is being manipulative, or when someone is like putting someone down. And I know the show is just meant to be funny, but I can't help but sometimes just feel like just so sad for the characters, like the children, because I can't imagine what that would feel like in real life, right? I had a partner who was a narcissist / sociopath. I am free from him, but I can't imagine what life is like when that person is your parent. Like it must be so much more difficult because you grow up with that person. When we talk about living life through this lens and the reticular activating system, growing up with a narcissistic parent, and whatever you live through being your mindset being programmed into you by the age of 7, right? So I had stepdaughters. They are 7. Whatever they endured from ages when they were born to age 7, that's instilled in them. So whatever angry outburst or confusing, whatever gaslighting manipulation that they endured through their dad, we'll see how it affects them. I think their mother is absolutely an amazing human. I don't know her fiance, but I'm pretty sure he's a great, amazing human. And I know that their side of the family, they have like a huge family, is just always there for the girls. And I hope that they're able to instill just so much self-worth and love, like real love, into them, so that when they get to a certain age, they're able to see the difference and what real love is, and what they get or receive from their dad is just, that's him, right? And then not take it personal. So let's go back to forgiveness and people blaming their parents. Growing up with someone like that as your parent, can't even fucking imagine. I bet it is so difficult and such like a huge mind fuck, because this person helped give birth to you. You are a part of them. They are supposed to be there for you and love you in a safe way, and not yell at you or belittle you or tell you that you're confused or that you're wrong, thinking whatever, like putting you down, bringing up your weight, shit like that. Bringing up your weight. Like, yeah, my mom talks about my weight sometimes. If my weight is fluctuating, if I'm breaking out a little more. Always, actually. Sometimes I reflect back on it and I wonder if she's also a narcissist, but I don't think she is. But I don't know, because she's done some shady stuff before, not to me, but to other people. But the things that she has done, I'm just like, I can't imagine doing that to someone that I love, like someone that I'm supposed to be with. So I don't know, still up in the air. And to be honest, I was going to say, I don't think I know her well enough to know if she is one or not. And I know me saying that out loud might sound a little crazy or like a little sad that I don't really know my mom like that. Like, I really don't know her deepest, darkest secrets, like what her insecurity, well, surface level insecurity, but like what she's afraid of, what she loves, because we just don't really have that kind of open relationship where we talk about stuff like that. Neither of me and my parents do, actually. And, you know, she doesn't, to my knowledge, she doesn't have like close best friends. You know, one of my best friends is from the 3rd grade. The other one's from the 4th grade. One I live with from the 6th grade. I have, you know, one of my other best friends is from work that I just met like 5 years ago. And then Justin's one of my really good friends. I still keep in touch. There's a group chat of the girls that we used to be in athletics with in high school. Like, I don't know if my mom has close relationships like that, which is so crazy, because then you're just like isolated and you're alone. And she definitely does not like to be alone at all. Like, she always has like a boyfriend. And then my dad, same. Like, I don't know him well enough. My dad definitely is not a narcissist. I can say that with a fact. But sometimes I wonder if my grandma is as well, like my mom's mom. Like, she is just so funny to me. She can have a whole ass conversation by herself, like in the car if we're doing something. Like, she's talking the whole time and no one's responding, like no one's saying anything. And she'll just like talk. But she's grandma and we're the grandchildren. So when we look at her, you know, like that's just grandma. But if she was our parent, I don't know how that would be. She has never talked shit about me or my brother, to my knowledge. My brother also said, yeah, she's never said anything about you. But she talks so much crap about everybody else, even the other grandchildren within the family, people that like help her. She's always like, I don't know, like boo-hoo, the victim. So it's kind of giving like narcissist, but I don't know. I don't know her well enough either to know if she is one, but these traits, it's very like traumatized, like victimized, very like negative, low energy mindset, personality. I don't know if it's like a cultural thing, them being the way that they are. And again, I'm going on another fucking tangent, and I'm just bringing this up just to say, like, I can be compassionate towards my mom. Ooh. There was actually a time period where I did not like her. And that was whenever I found out the tea of what she has done to my dad. And yeah, like it was like, it just kind of like blew my mind. And I kind of just saw her in a different light. And of course, like she's my mom, but at the same time, I was just like, that's so fucked up. So anyway, there was like this short, I want to say for like a year where I just like, like, of course I didn't talk to her about it either, because here's the thing. You can confront someone. You have two options, okay, with a parent that you don't have like the relationship that you want with them, or if there's some kind of resentment or still anger that you're like holding on to. This is where forgiveness is key, because forgiveness frees yourself. It frees you from being tied to this loop of negative energy that is valid but also unnecessary, because you can feel the way that you feel, right? Whatever it is that you went through, whatever they did, whatever they said, you are entitled to your feelings, but you are also in control of how you feel, and you can make a choice. You can choose to continue to have this negative emotion towards them. If you choose that, okay, great, whatever. But they win. And it's not about winning or losing, but it means that they have control over you. They are controlling how you feel. You are giving them power. You are allowing them to control how you feel. But you are in control of how you feel. So you can make the choice to forgive them. And when I say forgive them, it doesn't mean like if there was abuse, if there was a lot of like fucked up whatever situations, it doesn't mean that whatever they did is okay per se. It just means that you are choosing to just let that go and let that not continue to control you. So with my mom, I talked about this with my therapist like a few years ago about how I don't know if I should say anything. And basically she said, there's two options. You are free to try to communicate with them how you feel. If you feel like that's going to help you feel better. But the thing is, when you go up to them and tell them how you feel, right? They can meet you in two ways. They can meet you with understanding and listening to your feelings and taking ownership for how they were years ago, how they've changed now, and they can apologize. And of course, that's what everyone really is trying to look for, like a validation of them treating you the way that they did. However, if this person is not emotionally mature, the likelihood of them being able to listen to you and not get defensive and not shift blame onto you, yeah, that is more likely to happen. So when and if that happens, you have to just understand that that is just who they are. They were raised however they were raised. They live their life through a filter, right? Their reticular activating system is programmed into them by the age of 7. So whatever trauma they went through, whatever fucking bullshit they may have endured by their parents or this, that, or whatever. And again, I'm not excusing abusive behavior by any means, but to understand them and have compassion for whatever it is that they went through, and to just let that go and just know that and accept that you might not get the reaction that you're hoping for. But the thing is, you shouldn't really expect that kind of reaction, right? Because now you're looking for this validation, when this validation can just come within inside you, and you can know that you are good enough and that you are worthy of love. And yes, this person who is your parent, who is supposed to love you in this kind of amazing, light, accepted, kind, generous way, in a way that all of us hope to be loved by a parent. Unfortunately, it doesn't happen that way a lot of the time, some of the times, especially I feel like with that generation, there is just so much generational trauma also that, they haven't really taken the time to sit still and reflect on why they are doing the things that they're doing, or why they behave the way that they do, or why they react the way that they do. I feel like a lot of people in that generation are just stuck in their trauma or fight or flight, or it is just so normalized to them. A lot of people in that generation don't get divorced because of religion or whatever. They this is just how it is. There is no life outside of this. It can't change. Like, that is just what is normal to them. That is their reality. And it's sad. It's sad. And it's very like, you're not living a fulfilling life. You're living a life where you're afraid of all of this shit, of being alone, of not being good enough, and not realizing that you can just take a look within and build yourself up and be a completely different person and transform. I don't know if a lot of people in that generation are capable of that. It just is what it is. So, going back to forgiveness, it really blew my mind when my dad told me what she did. It was all money stuff. Like, that side of the family is very like limited mindset, focused on money. Like, they feel like they need money, and that money, it's just, the more money they have, the quicker it's just going to disappear. Like, they just have a very, I feel like, unhealthy relationship with money, and maybe just unhealthy views on life in general. But yeah, I lost respect for her. I just did not understand how someone can do what she did. But then I kind of had to just let it go. You know, like, I could have stayed angry. I could have cut her out, but she's my mom, and I do love her. And whatever it is that she didn't do to me, and she didn't do to my brother, you know, like, she has loved us. She has loved us, and she was always there for us physically, financially, maybe emotionally in some sort of way. You know, like, I just never really talked to her about deep-seated stuff. But she's my mom, and I kind of had to just forgive her. I did try to confront her whenever I found out, and she kind of just played it off like it wasn't a big deal and it was about gambling. And she kind of was just like, oh, like, I don't have a problem. I just do it for fun. And that was just something that I had to accept. Was there are just some people that you're just not going to be able to talk to, right? So if you have this parent that you felt some type of way, you felt like they put you down more than the other siblings, you felt like they favored the other sibling or treated you a certain way, or weren't able to listen to you, or always, you know, like, brush things off like they weren't a big deal, where you feel not validated and you didn't feel heard and you didn't feel safe. So you have this like negative emotion towards them, or you blame them or whatever. And you may decide that, hey, I kind of want to tell them how I feel. And that's totally fine. But also knowing and understanding that parent, and knowing that there's a chance that you might not be heard. And just having to be okay with it. That's where like the forgiveness comes in. And forgiving them is freeing yourself. My sexual abuse. That was really difficult for me in my early 20s, because I still had to be around these people in some aspects. I will not now if I don't absolutely have to. Like, if I know they're going to be there, I will choose to just not be there. But yeah, I had to just, you know, act like nothing happened, and that was just how it was. And I didn't tell anybody, and I didn't even quite process exactly what that meant. Like, what they did was wrong. It wasn't something that like just happened, but having to process like the fucked up part of it, processing through that, understanding what happened, and then having to learn to like let that go. That helped free me. And this is something that I talked about on the podcast, was it wasn't really until the Me Too movement where I felt like I wasn't alone. And I had shared this with some close friends before and learned that my other friends, some of my other friends have also endured the same thing, same or different or whatever. And I remember having this mindset of, if I met someone that hadn't gone through some kind of unwanted touch by somebody, like, it blew my mind. Like, to meet someone that didn't go through that, I'm just like, oh my God, like, that's so crazy, right? And it's kind of sad, but my mindset's definitely different now. And again, we talked about that. Nina mentioned how once she forgave her ex, that was when everything started to fall into place for her with the things that she wanted to do in life. And I'm going to be quite honest. I understand, forgave whatever that happened in my childhood and with my parents, whatever resentment I may have felt. I think in therapy, this whole like approval seeking and not feeling safe because, like, they weren't there. But I can't blame them, for not being there. Well, number one, they didn't know. Number two, you never really can protect your child from everything. And it is so scary. And all you can do is just hope for the best, really. Or just know that, like, everything will be okay. But all of that to say, I 100% would not be who I am to this day if that didn't happen. And I think a lot of people will kind of argue against finding gratitude or something you can learn from that. But I think it's true. I truly don't believe that I would be as compassionate or empathetic as I am now if that didn't happen to me in childhood. If I didn't go through that, learn what I needed to learn, on top of being married to someone who was a narcissistic sociopath. I learned so fucking much in that relationship. I definitely would not be as strong as I am right now in this moment if I hadn't gone through that. And so when I share my story with some people, or when I haven't seen someone in a while and I catch them up on it, and of course, whatever I went through as a child and in that marriage, like, it isn't light stuff by any means. I don't want to downplay that it isn't a big deal, because it was a lot of intentionally fucked up shit. Just luckily, like, it wasn't physical, like, he didn't beat me. It was a lot of mental, emotional, fucked up shit. And it was intentional because he did the same thing to these other women. I stand by the fact that I believe with all of my soul that that was something that I needed to go through. I needed to go through that to transform, and it had me look back on everything in my life, my past relationships, how I showed up, how I thought that I was this, secure, like, bad bitch. And maybe I was to, like, a certain extent, but there was a part of me that was still so insecure and still seeking validation through other people, through sex, chasing alcohol, chasing a feeling, because of everything that had happened in my childhood. Like, my relationship with my ex-husband was just that peak catalyst. Am I using the right word? That just is what is the reason that I am transforming, and that I am just, so strong now, and just simply aware. Like, we woke up, and now I stay awake, and I might still make poor decisions, like buy a vape and then another vape within that weekend, or maybe I'll go out, or maybe I'll eat over my calories or whatever. Maybe I'll hyperfixate on side piece because I hooked up with him and blah, 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 blah. And all that stuff. Like, sure, I'm not perfect by any means, but just waking up and being aware of your thoughts and your actions and your behaviors. And also by being aware, you are able to be compassionate towards yourself, which is the most fucking important thing, to be compassionate and kind and not hold on to this guilt or shame, because those are useless emotions. They don't do anything for you. They just keep you like, I felt a lot of guilt and I felt a lot of shame for the childhood stuff, right? I did not feel a lot of guilt or a lot of shame about what I went through with my ex. However, I did feel a lot of guilt within the relationship when I wanted to leave because I didn't want to hurt him. And that was my overly empathetic trauma bond reason, right? Because I went through abuse as a kid, and therefore I can never imagine causing someone else any kind of pain, making anyone else feel bad. And now I end up in this relationship that I didn't really want to be in, but it's giving me some sort of validation. I'm approval seeking from the one person that's putting me down. And it's just like this toxic cycle. And I mentioned this in that podcast episode. I don't know why it bothers me. Maybe I need to understand where that is coming from. Is whenever I do share my story or something like that, or catch someone up, and again, I don't want to downplay what I went through, but they might say, oh, this is going to take years for you to heal and recover. Or like what you went through. I don't know. I feel like, yeah, someone can have something traumatic as fuck happen to them. And yes, was very traumatic. And there are some things that, will kind of trigger me, or I might have, like a flashback. And of course, I'm saying all of this right now, but I have no idea how this is going to show up whenever I am in a relationship with someone else, how some of these insecurities might show up. And I'm sure at some point they will. But again, I think when you just have that awareness that, hello, this is happening right now. You're having this anxious thought, or you're having this insecure thought. Like, you might want to think about where this might be coming from versus, being in Delulu and blaming someone else, or acting or reacting out of fear or whatever. Awareness, being conscious. I'll probably mention this in every single episode because it is so important. A lot of people aren't aware. A lot of people don't know that the way that they react or how they show up is coming from an inner child wound that they haven't. There's a reason that you have anxiety. There's a reason that you feel fear. And you might not necessarily have to know what the reason is, but just understanding and realizing that something in your body is tick, tick, tapping. We're knocking. And it's okay to open the door and face it. And one of the things to do that, or one of the things that help you do that and move forward, is to let go of what was. Because when you hold on to what was, you are not going to be in the present. You're not going to be able to enjoy and live in the moment so that you can have an amazing, abundant future. Because you're stuck back here when you could be here in reality, in real life, and enjoying every moment and feeling grateful for the fact that your body works and you're not in pain and you're still young and you still have so much life to live and to learn. Like, I don't know how old you guys are. I'm 31. I don't know how long I will live up to, but compared to 31 and let's just say like 80 or 90, I mean, even just the next 10 years, that's still a lot of years to live, to love, to travel, to learn, to transform, to be a better version of who you are now. And that's by being aware and living life with intention instead of just coasting through and letting, the hours turn to days and the days turn to weeks and the weeks turn to months. And next thing you know, oh my God, I'm gonna make sure. Next thing you know, it's 5 years have passed and you've gained a ton of weight, or your health is really bad, or you're still where you were and you haven't improved, and your life, you feel stuck, or you feel some type of way about your life. Like, oh, this is just life, No, it's not just life. It's life. It's life. Life is a gift. Life is beautiful. Life is amazing. Life is something that you have the opportunity to live in, to wake up to. It's not just mundane, everyday bullshit. Like, if that were my mindset every day, yeah, like that is tiring and that is like draining and blah. But life doesn't have to be blah. It all starts with you and your mindset and being aware and letting go of the past. And by letting go of the past, it does not mean excusing someone's abusive behaviors. It does not mean that whatever they did is okay, right? It does not mean that. Forgiveness does not necessarily mean, hey, you know what you did? It's fine. It's not fine. But you can have some kind of understanding or compassion. I don't think I've quite made it there. Because I don't know if I feel quite compassion for the adult men that, do that to a kid. Like, it may not be there. Like, I don't, like maybe they were, like I don't feel that way. It is just something that happened. I am not a victim. I am not, woe is me. Why did that happen to me? It just happened. And it is what it is. What can I learn from it? I want to be a good fucking person. I want to be an amazing person. I want to help other people. I want to share my story so that other people aren't alone. I am on this journey and I want to be the best version of myself. That is what I've gathered from what I went through. Same thing with my ex. With my ex, that's different. I can be compassionate for why he is the way that he is. However, the thing is, within the relationship, I have been overly compassionate and empathetic and way too understanding and excusing his behaviors because they were abusive, right? Way too much of that to where I tolerated disrespect and abuse because I was not aware. I am aware now. I can understand that, yeah, he had a shitty childhood or whatever, was abused, was put down, had a narcissistic mother. I can understand that. And sometimes, how does a narcissist become a narcissist? Either they have a parent who is a narcissist or their parent overspoiled them, or a grandparent. So then they feel like they don't have to take accountability or whatever. That's how narcissists are born or made. I can have compassion for that little boy that's within him. I can understand why he is the way that he is. I don't have to accept that behavior from him. and I can let that go. Sometimes I wonder, have I let it go? Because I constantly talk about it, but then I have to remind myself there's so much within that relationship, little things that will always come up, and I like to share it because a lot of people can relate. A lot of people have gone through relationships like this. I feel like it helps, and that's why I do it. That's why I overshare my whole entire life. Yeah. I can understand, find some kind of positive, learn from these past situations. Okay, stuff with my parents, mom, whatever, dad might not have been emotionally available as one would have hoped for or liked or expect from a parent. But understanding them and how they were raised and how they grew up, my parents met here in the States, but they were not born here. They were born in Vietnam, and they came over here at whatever age. And I don't know what they saw or what they endured when they were in Vietnam. My dad's half black, half Vietnamese. He got bullied for being black. My mom, according to grandma, they grew up poor and they lived on the streets and blah, blah, blah. So I can be understanding about and have compassion for why she might have that mindset when it comes to money, because they grew up without money. I can understand that. I can be compassionate for that. I can love them for them and just know and accept that whatever love that I'm seeking through them or through other people, I can give that to myself. Because as long as you're seeking a validation or love from someone else, you are never going to feel whole. You are never going to feel like a whole version of yourself, because there's that missing piece in you that you feel like you don't have, and you can only get that from other people. That makes you vulnerable to abusive relationships or to shitty friendships or shitty relationships, or settling for someone who disrespects you or who is just whatever, might not be a good partner, might not be a good dad, but because they show some kind of semi attraction to you that you're like, oh, okay, well, this is good enough. But no, because if you fuel yourself with so much self-love and assuredness, you then now have standards. You're not going to accept bullshit. You're not going to let people walk all over you. You're not going to be searching out there to fuel what you can find inside. And I promise you, when you do, your life will change and it will be completely different. And that's how you live a fulfilling life, is learning to let go of the past, love and accept yourself, be compassionate for yourself, forgive who you need to forgive, and let that shit go. I have this tattoo on my calf, and it's like a baby elephant. It's an outline of a baby elephant holding onto a balloon that's red, and at the bottom it says live, learn, let go. And I think I got that I don't remember when I got that. Maybe I was 22 or 23. Regarding to the sexual abuse stuff, you live, you learn, and you let go. Because the more you hold on to something, the more it has a hold onto you. And you are not in control. You might think you're in control, but you're not. The past, those people, they are in control because you are allowing them to control how you feel. You feel like you don't have a choice, but you do have a choice. Whatever happened in the past, it doesn't define who you are necessarily. like I said earlier, I don't think I would be who I am today had I not gone through what I went through. But it doesn't mean that I'm a set fixed person, right? Like if you have this mindset of, oh, this is just life and this is just who I am and I can't change, and that's like a limited mindset. You are limiting yourself in a box when you allow the past to control your now. You are limiting yourself. And by letting go and forgiving the past and moving on and finding gratitude for the present and being excited for the future, by doing that, you're opening that box. You're breaking through that box. You don't have a box anymore. There are no limits. Your life is abundant as fuck. And the way to get to that feeling of abundance is forgiveness, letting go of the past, loving yourself, self-love, compassion, being kind to yourself, accepting who you are, not feeling guilt and shame, working on waking up and being conscious and having a growth mindset and being excited for the future. And then that is life, baby. That is just amazingness. That is just a sparkle. You will quite literally sparkle and attract anything and everything that you want, because like attracts like. Whatever it is that you are, you attract. So if you want to attract amazing things, you need to work on becoming amazing yourself. And that's all I've got for right now. Forgiveness, letting go of the past. That's the key to freedom. Thank you guys. Bye.